In Creo 12, there is greater flexibility with composite curves and broadened support for the modernized project and offset tools initially introduced in previous versions. This includes workflow improvements to the project and offset tools, such as the multi-selection workflow being the default behavior to remain active in the tool for further selection as shown here. We will now create an offset of these edges to show another workflow enhancement where preview geometry is kept when exiting project or offset, which in this case we are doing by switching to a different tool, such as the corner tool, where we can now see that offset geometry is preserved. In Creo 12, we can use composite curves in more flexible ways, such as being able to use corner trim, chamfer, and fillet for selective segments of the composite curve. It is now also possible to select individual composite curve segments reflected in the selection window to then perform various operations such as changing the color of these segments. In this case, we'll change the color of these segments from orange to blue. Snapping to joints, midpoints, and endpoints is now possible with tools such as divide, line, arc, and centerline. Furthermore, we can now also snap constraints of geometry we create to individual composite curve segments, as shown here, where we have made the radius of this circle equal to the radius of the composite arc segment. We will then select a mixture of composite curve segments and regular geometry to mirror using the centerline we created to then complete the sketch. As a result of these enhancements to composite curves, text in Sketcher can now reference individual composite curve segments and joints. We can see that here, as we create the text, we are snapping it to the joint of the composite arc segment, and we are now able to place it along a composite curve segment reference for optimal orientation of this text. In Creo 12, composite curve segment IDs are more stable. When performing replace and modify operations, the geometry IDs for the composite curve segments remain after the replacement or modification of the reference chain or loop. This is demonstrated here with the extruded quilt from the reference offset composite curve chain, with the IDs of the quilt patches going from 3490 to 3478 by decrements of 2. When we redefine the offset composite curve chain by changing the anchor and extent references, we see the quilt updates with the same IDs before redefinition of the chain, with the new surface patch being the only patch that gets a new ID. These enhancements in Creo 12 make working with composite curves resulting from project and offset much more flexible.